I know what kind of liar you are. I know what kind of lying you're capable of. 3 or 4 months ago, you made some comments talking about the lawsuit I had against Vince for my DVD. You said that I'd reached out to you to see if you would help me in that because we deposed you in that. That was a lie, Terry. I didn't reach out to you. I tracked down where you were and how I could find you through Linda. The server of the deposition pulled up to that property you had there in Bel Air. Linda was out in the yard doing something, and she was more than happy to tell us where you were. But in that deposition, you sat there under oath when you got questioned about the things you said on that DVD relative to the 1991 event where you and Sergeant Slaughter and Vince were all figuring out what to do because I supposedly held Vince up for money, wouldn't go out to the ring, going to take me in the broom closet, straighten me out the old way. Sitting in a deposition under oath, watching a video replay of the exact things you said. You said you had no idea about what happened, that you couldn't remember anything. I mean, isn't that odd, Terry, that you couldn't remember anything? And what was it, 2008, 2009, 4 years after the DVD came out? But in 2005, when you sat down to shoot the DVD, you remembered everything from 14 years back to 1991. I mean, you wouldn't even admit to the fact that you were sitting in your own house at the time to do the stuff you did on the DVD. You're sitting there looking at yourself, sitting in a room in your house, I think it was your library. All the furnishings and everything, you've been living around those for years. You wouldn't even admit that that was your house. I never called you to help me, Terry, but you helped me. Thanks, brother. You know, your bullet reference in that sit-down interview is really interesting. First, and especially so, because you weren't very good at making effective a use of one either, were you, Terry? I mean, let's get real, man. You made that story up in your book that you were sitting on the bed with a gun in your mouth. I mean, just to play the victim, just to get sympathy, just to keep up the work. Never off. That's your MO, your whole freaking life. Never off the work. I mean, everybody who knows you knows that you don't have the courage to stick a gun in your mouth, let alone put a bullet in your head. There's nothing honorable, even if the story was true. There's nothing to respect about a man who sits and lets the world know all his whines and complaints and bitches. Real men don't do that, Terry Bollea. And I guess the other thing to come out of that bullet reference is that if I had been smart enough or shrewd enough or dumb enough or backstabbing enough, calculated enough to use that bullet effectively to kill Hulkamania, then I'd be in your shoes right now, right? I'd be where you are. I'd have the great life that you have. Man, that's something to admire. Oh, that's something to shoot for, man. There's a goal to shoot for. To become like you. Just a pitiful, absolute wreck of a man. Let me tell you something, Terry Bollea. In every single measurable way, the quality of my life is better than yours. Every single measurable way. I mean, you are a man who would sell what tiny bit of your soul you have left, you would sell it for a handful of pocket change. And it's the same thing that you were trying to get across to that Edge character, right? Basically, when you bashed him for retiring while he still had all his senses, you said that he wasn't worthy enough of being called one of the boys. I mean, that's what you were trying to say, right? That's what was between the lines of your little Twitter tweet. That he wasn't like the real boys. That he wasn't willing to stay in the business until he was mentally and physically battered like you, just a wreck and a whore in every single way.